Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and in this tutorial what I'm going to be doing is I'm essentially going to be gluing together this top fragment with this main activity. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to communicate. That was kind of cute little burp there. Alright, I always try to compliment my burps as best I can. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how to successfully communicate between this top fragment and the main activity. And again, it may look a little bit weird whenever I'm doing it, but I promise by the end of this tutorial, once you see how everything is put together, it's going to make sense. So again, if you're watching this tutorial, don't give up halfway through, because at the end it's going to make a lot of sense. So the first thing we're going to do is we actually are going to create an interface, and you'll understand why later. So I'm just going to name my top section listener. Activity commander is the name of the interface object. And of course, since we said, okay, we're going to create an interface named top section listener, let's go ahead and do that right now. So public interface top section listener, and of course what we need to do is we need to say, okay, this interface that's going to be implemented by main activity, you're going to implement it to ensure that you have some function, or excuse me, I'm used to programming PHP. I've been working on my site, so that's why I may call some things functions, but it ensures that you have this method implemented. So this method that we want to make sure that main activity implements is create meme. Now for create meme, whenever main activity is trying to create meme, and again, this is just a method that we're going to be making later, but we're going to pass it in two strings, the top and the bottom. So again, what's going to happen is this main activity is going to implement this interface, and whenever it does, it says, okay, I promise that I'm going to use this method called create meme. And what create meme essentially is going to do is we're going to pass it in the text from here and the text from here, and then it's going to use that to create the bottom meme. Alright, so what we have to do after this is actually have an override method, and the override method is on attach, and hit OK. So what on attach does is it gets called whenever we attach the fragment to the activity. So whenever that happens, what code do we want to stick in here? Well, all we want to have is we want to say, okay, try that activity commander and set this equal to top section listener activity. And let me just finish this up and then I'll explain what I'm doing. So after this, what I want to do is just catch class exception. I'll just call it E, and if I catch that, hopefully I won't, throw new class cast exception activity, and I'll just have toString, so we have something nice to look at, or hopefully we don't look at it. Alright, so actually I might as well just finish up all this code and then I'll talk you guys through it. So on button clicked, and I added a little comment so you guys know what's going on. So this eventually gets called whenever the user clicks the button. Remember, we just stuck it down here to make it nice and neat. And inside here, for that activity commander thing, which what the heck is that? You're going to call create meme. And remember, create meme is pretty much how we communicate to this main activity. So whenever we're communicating with it, we're going to give it two pieces of data to pass along to bottom picture fragment. And those two pieces of data are the text that the user typed in here and in here. So how do we get that text? Well, the two parameters are top text input, and to get the text from an edit text, it's just a method get text and convert it to a string, which pretty much means just the text itself. So the first parameter is the top text that they typed in, and the second parameter is the bottom text. So same exact thing, essentially. So toString. Alright. So let's go ahead and step back and essentially see what the heck just happened. So what's going to happen is we're saying whenever you want to talk to top section fragment, in order to do that, you need to implement this interface right here. So later on, we're going to implement it from main activity. Now, whenever we implement this interface that we just created, what main activity is doing is it's saying, okay, I implemented it, so I promise that I'm going to create this method called createMeme. Now, we need to ensure that this method gets created, because if we're trying to talk to main activity and pass along that information and they don't have a method called createMeme, well, that's going to cause a whole bunch of trouble. So saying, okay, whenever I attach this fragment on main activity, then I'm going to create that interface, which we just did. Actually, right here is where we created it. And then since I created this, I'm going to include this method, and eventually whenever they click the button, they're going to go to main activity and call the createMeme method with these two pieces of information. So I know it's kind of weird, but that is how top section and main activity talk to one another. And if you made it through this tutorial, I promise everything else is actually really easy. So that was the hardest part. So if you don't understand, then, well, you probably will by the end of this tutorial. It's probably going to be like 2 more videos, maybe even 1. So for now, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.